Is Hello Neighbor 2 worth our time? We're about to find out. Welcome everyone to episode 158 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, is saying hello worth our time?
Always worth your time to say hello, especially if it's followed by there.
You had to go with the Star Wars stuff, didn't you?
Couldn't help it.
Couldn't help it. So we are talking about Hello Neighbor 2. And guess what? We've played the first game.
This has got to be the first time that this has occurred.
Kind of. But we played our very very first.
Oh, that's right.
One of our first early episodes was Mud Runner, and then we played Snow Runner.
Yes. Okay.
So
touche.
But this is a rare occurrence that we played the first game and then the second game. It's usually the sequels. So
yes,
well done.
It is unusual for this to occur, but over 100 episodes have transpired since we played Hello Neighbor number 1. So
for sure. And this game was developed by Tiny Build, and it came out in December of 2022. I played this on the PC, per usual, and it was a decently sized 13.89 gigabytes. Tom, what about you?
We got some savings here on the Series S, 11.29 gigabytes.
Ooh, okay.
Optimized for the Xbox.
Done. And by the way, this was it was released on all platforms at that time too, so they made sure to let them all out, unlike a couple of the games that we like Grease, that was like sporadic over like several years and stuff like that. So good on Tiny Build for doing but Tom, what kind of game is this?
I put first person mystery puzzle.
I almost put the same thing, but I added something which was important, I thought, which is first-person stealth mystery solve. You do have to sneak around.
Yeah. You really do need to stealth.
Yeah, because...
Or you can brute force it like I do.
I mean, I guess that's one way of doing it. I don't know how successful it is, but I guess we'll talk about that. And we need to talk about that game loop. So what was that?
It looks like we have pretty similar ones here as well. Not a big surprise. Mm-hmm. I have explore the town to find clues and items in order to solve puzzles and unlock new areas and abilities.
Yeah. I put sneak around the neighborhood to find clues about this creepy neighbor.
He is indeed a very creepy neighbor.
Yeah. And, like we said earlier, we have played this game before. Well, the first game.
Yes.
And I guess we have a good way to compare and contrast now, Tom, can't we? In a way. So let's talk about those likes.
So I thought it was the intro cutscene, the thing that propels you into the game. Yeah. I think was really well executed. Okay. I think it introduced the characters in an interesting way. I thought the tone was cool.
Yeah.
I liked that you got hit, he runs over and smashes in your car window. Like, yeah, it's very like high octane for such a like kind of goofy looking game.
Right. I felt like the first game didn't do as well of an introduction.
No,
I could be wrong. I felt like you were just like a kid that was like in the neighborhood and you saw something weird. And then that was it. You were just you plopped into the world and you need to figure out what's going on with this weirdo neighbor. And I agree with you. The intro definitely kind of set the stakes. I felt overall this game was more polished, which would have been disappointing if on the second try it got worse, because that first game was quite like it just felt unfinished in some way. I don't know what it was, but it's their first try. Now they I'm sure they took feedback in and made the game better. And it shows. It does show. So I give them that, and the fact that this game I can see my feet and I can see my body. This is the second game in a very short amount of time where we've played in first person, and not only can we see our feet, we can see the rest of our body, like our torso.
Yeah.
You can see your character, who's like a reporter of some sort.
Yes, a journalist for sure.
Yes, and he's got a little like journalist badge and stuff like that. You could see it. You could see it on your body, and that was kind of cool. So I appreciated that. I was like, cool. They listened to me. They listen to my feedback for my first 1 hour that I played of that other game. Yeah. So that was good. I appreciated that. And what about you? What other things did you like about this?
I liked the introductory puzzle that they did because I think it did a good job of being the tutorial and explaining the controls like
Right.
as you need them.
Yep.
Which I'm always a big proponent of. Don't hit me with everything all at once. I'm not going to remember.
Yeah.
But if you go, okay, now you need to crawl, this is how you crawl. Now you need to jump, this is how you jump. And you just kind of walk me through, this is how you pick things up. This is how you put things down. You know, like in the context of solving the puzzle, like I think it was well executed as well.
Right. I agree with you. That was good way to kind of get you into the game and understand the mechanics for sure. You got a crowbar. That was interesting. That was an interesting utility that you got. Tool.
Half-Life style.
Right. It looked very much like Half-Life, and that Half-Life crowbar. That was kind of cool. But we'll get into maybe our dislikes about that. But yeah, that was something. And I thought that this game wasn't as intimidating or scary as the first one. And for me, that's a like. Because I was like, I didn't feel like there was as much tension as the other game. I don't know how else to explain it. Because at least the one person that was kind of chasing after me was a cop. And I was like, okay, the cop, he's not going to try and kill me. He'll just throw me out, which he does. Right. He does the first time you go. And then that's essentially what he just keeps doing. He just throws you out of the house. So I think in that way, it felt like the stakes were a lot lower in a way. But yeah, like it was good. And then like, the neighborhood I felt like was a little bit more fleshed out compared to the previous time. So, and you can interact a bit more with the world possibly. So yeah, it was interesting to just kind of go through that. And I don't know how you felt about the text. I thought I was like dyslexic most of the time because everything was just jumbled up. But
yeah, I just thought it was an interesting choice. Like I liked it. I think in part because it does lean into the visual style of the game, which I think it's, anytime you have a visual style, your game will look good later, which I think this one will. And this game tells a story with no discernible dialogue or narration. There are no words in the game. So some of that jumbling up on all the signs and letters and things kind of makes sense, right? Because there is no language in the game. None of the characters are talking. So maybe there shouldn't be words at all, but like a stop sign still needs to have the word stop on it, right?
Right.
So they just take the letters and jumble them up.
Right.
So you still recognize it as a stop sign, but it doesn't actually say stop.
Yeah. The kind of like bleeding into our dislikes here, but
we can do that.
Okay. But I had a little bit of a problem. Then I was like thinking about it more. And as you're talking about it too, I'm wondering because the tutorial, as you mentioned, it was a good tutorial. But the thing that just made no sense to me is as soon as you end the tutorial or as soon as you so what happens? Sorry, let me step back a little bit. So you're a journalist guy, starts taking pictures of this creepy neighbor. You see him bring a kid into his house and you're like, what's going on? He comes out, like you mentioned, he comes out with a shovel, breaks your car window. You freak out, drive away, but then you crash into a barn or I guess a garage or something like that. It's a garage, I guess, right? I don't know. Some sort. Anyway, it's connected to this guy's house. The game starts there, and then you are essentially trying to figure out how to get out of the barn or this structure. As soon as you leave the structure, the guy's just waiting out there and hits you on the head.
Yep.
So I'm like, so he was just waiting for me to figure out how to do this whole tutorial so he could just smack me in the head. And then what happens? You just go to your home. You've got you're all bandaged up, and that's that. And then you just kind of like, okay, go do what you have to do. Like I was very confused about what just happened. And tie it back to the text. I'm wondering if this guy is has a concussion or something like that.
He may very well be concussed.
Yeah. So like all the letters and everything are jumbled up because his mind is gone. Like he's gotten one too many hits to the head.
Yeah.
That's why everything looks all messed up. And I don't know, it was a little frustrating in that way because the game wants you to try to observe things in the world and all that stuff. And when I see this, it's like almost like they're just poking fun, way at you. It's like, hey, let's just make this a little bit more challenging by making all the every word in the game difficult to read.
Yeah,
not incredibly difficult, of course, but it was like I felt like it was one of those poorly constructed adventure games or point and click adventure games where the puzzles just felt so obscure and obtuse. Like you were just like you have to it's so weird. It's so weird when you compare this game to like a Cocoon. right? Like where the Cocoon, like it was just so well crafted with the puzzles, like everything came together. It wasn't like Cocoon wasn't like a big brain thing either, but at the same time, like it made you feel like you were accomplishing something. Whereas here, I didn't get that same feeling. I was just like, oh, okay, I guess I had to get this thing to open it. All right, I guess. Like it did, I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. I was just kind of like a point and click adventure game that I wasn't really enjoying. I wouldn't really enjoy. I'm just clicking around on the screen, just hoping that something interacts. So
I'm with you. You know, a lot of my beef here and my dislikes is that I'm wandering aimlessly, right?
Yep.
You brought up Cocoon. Cocoon does a great job of you're always in the right place.
Yeah.
Here, you could be in the wrong place.
Yeah.
You could spend 30 minutes in a building that you're not even supposed to be in right now.
Right.
And you wouldn't know.
Right.
Like you'd open every door and blah, blah, blah. And then you'd be like, I guess there's nothing here or nothing I can get to yet.
Yeah.
Because the game doesn't give you any kind of direction. It doesn't tell you at any point what you're supposed to be doing. Like, am I supposed to be trying to sneak past this policeman? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing right now?
Yeah.
If that's what I'm supposed to be doing, why is the scissors in the treehouse?
Yeah.
Like I was rewarded for climbing up into the treehouse and derping around in there, and I was given an item.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't told that I need to go up in the treehouse. It wasn't like I was just like getting frustrated with the police guy. So I was like, what else can I do?
Yeah. Like because the game has like physics to a sense, right? And then the fact that just some police tape is like going to stop you from going up the stairs in this house was a bit like, what the hell? Like, really?
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know. Some of the stuff just made no sense. And yeah, I agree. I was in that house for quite a long time. And then I was like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get, like, I have to go upstairs. I have to like keep figuring out what to do in this. Like, and then I would pick up those blocks and then I think you move a painting and there's like a combination there that you can like pull, but that has like letters in it. What's going on? Like, how am I supposed to figure all this stuff out? And then like you said, I just happened to just go outside and go across the street, and I saw that there was this treehouse. And I will say the one thing that when you start the game, or like when you're like not starting, not the app past the tutorial, when you're in your bed or whatever, like your office, and you do see that there's like crows that are kind of circling the neighbor's house. So in a way, the world kind of indicates that you have to get there, and that's your main objective. But like, it was just so subtle. I don't know. It like the storytelling wasn't great, at least so far in the game. So like, why is this cop so adamant that I'm not in this house? You know?
Well, because it's a crime
scene. But and then how much time has passed since I got knocked out? Are you saying the guy knocked me out and then just destroyed his house and left, and there was a criminal investigation that happened? Like, that must have been quite some time. Or these are very efficient cops. I don't know one or the other, but you know, I don't know. It was just very confusing to me.
I think, you know, like I said, my dislikes revolve around the I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I accidentally kept throwing my items because of the default button mapping.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to like let's say I want to use the crowbar.
Yeah.
And I kept pressing the button and throwing it. And on top of that, like the controls are context sensitive. So it's not like you can't just swing your crowbar.
Right.
Like if you wanted to swing your crowbar,
you would think a crowbar could take down the crime scene tape.
Right.
But no, you can't do that. You need specifically scissors.
Yeah. Or smash a window. Yeah. But it's like, no, like this isn't the right tool for that.
Right. It's, I don't know. It was just very, very odd. And the other thing I was a bit disappointed about was the audio, because I feel like audio is really important in a game where you're trying to stealth.
Yes.
And what I would say in particular is just like, I felt like the mix for the cop. The cop is like generally like in the beginning, he's just kind of pacing the front of the house. I felt like even when I went upstairs, he was like, his steps were still pretty loud. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, the game's like messing with me. Like, is there, maybe that's to add the creepiness factor? I don't know. But it just like,
he felt too close.
It felt too close all the time. I mean, I know there's that audio prompt when he sees you. There's like that, you know, the violins, whatever. and that was fine, but it was still like, why did you make it sound so close? Like, if I heard someone walking around outside of my house and I go upstairs, I don't think I would be as loud as it was if I was downstairs.
Right. Yeah.
So just things like that were just kind of disappointing to me.
Yeah.
What else do you got there, Tom? Anything else here?
I had to replay segments over and over again, and frankly, to me, that's not fun. I don't like doing things over and over again. Some of that definitely falls on me because I was trying to brute force in a lot of ways. Like, I don't have the patience to be playing the stealth game. Like,
sure,
I have more patience with the stealth game if I had clear instructions.
Sure, yeah.
If it was like, okay, here's a map, you need to get to this room and do something there.
Yeah,
then I have the patience. But to like stealth because maybe something's over there, like, no, right. I'm just going to run over there as fast as I can, and I'll just run past the guy.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the main objective for this guy should be to go to a hospital, because like he got hit on the head and he's all the writing is messed up. Like, something's wrong. You need to go to the hospital. You can't just wake up and start to investigate something. Something's going to fall through the cracks, maybe on your head again. And then,
and also why? Like, what's the motive here? Like, I understand at the beginning of the game when there's a creepy man grabbing a kid and pulling him into the house.
Yeah,
that might be a cause for concern.
Yeah,
when the police have shown up and considered it a crime scene, you're a citizen. Go home. Like, the cops have it now. Like, unless you don't trust the police, but like, that's not like established at all in the narrative of the game. So
no, it is not. It's a shame, but people seem to have been really excited for this game. So good for them. But shall we get to our other thoughts then, Tom?
Yes, sir. Let's move on.
How Long to Beat says this game takes about 4 hours to complete. 4 hours. That is incredibly short.
Yeah,
I was not expecting that, to be honest.
It's 4 hours if you know what you're doing somehow.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Like, yeah, if you know where every little thing. That's true, because I tend to replay Sam & Max Hit the Road, and that game, if you know what you're doing, can probably be beaten in under 3 hours, I think. So there you have that. And and this game is Xbox and xCloud capable. Cross saves and stuff like that work between PC and Xbox. And like I said, you can play it on the cloud. So if that's your thing, you can do that. And what you got, Tom?
Okay, so I think it's worth mentioning that by the time we got to this game, it's already gotten several content updates. Several of which were to address criticisms over problems, like technical problems at launch.
Oh, really?
Okay. So this, not unlike the first game, it was unpolished when it hit the street. But they have patched it quite a bit. So I also thought it was interesting. The game was announced via an alternate reality game that was mixed into the developer's prior game, which is a multiplayer version of Hello Neighbor called Secret Neighbor. So that's like an online game that you can play. And part of the revealing this game is that it was in development, and that, like, from the time it was announced to the time that it was launched, like in an early access, was a very fast, because they were working on it in secret, and then just kind of announced it and dropped it kind of very quickly.
Okay. Yeah, and there was a couple of add-ons too. I didn't really look at what they were. I don't know if it's like you continues the story. I'm not entirely sure, but let's get into our final thoughts here.
Yeah.
Are we going to be keeping this on our respective hard drives, or are we calling child services and ending this?
I'd called child services, but apparently the police are already on the scene. I will tell you that playing this game reminded me why I never went back to finish the first game, because it too had a very short runtime. It was not a long game, the first one. This game, to me, it relies too much on like the player wanting to explore and discover. Like, that's who that's made for. I like my games to be a lot more narrative driven. This just isn't. I need to know what to do. I'd have to play this game with like a walkthrough open.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, I don't know that I care. Like,
right. Yeah. I mean, the characters weren't compelling enough. It's just like a weird story. So yeah, I agree with you. While the game is short and definitely more polished, granted, we're, like you said, we were playing at 2 years at this point, past the actual original release date. It's just isn't this game isn't just for me, man. It's not for me. I feel like though my kids would like this game. Like it seems more like a kiddie game. I don't know how else to explain it. Like someone who has a lot of time to just try to figure this stuff out. I think that's what it is. But yeah, it's just not for me. And those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter at TC1H1D, or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And if you're on YouTube and want to say how amazing Hello Neighbor 2 is, and what if there's more games coming, you hope to see them, shoot a comment down below. Maybe we'll read and respond to them. 1H1D is part of that QTV network, and if you like any kind of cool, excellent, wonderful, superb gaming content, check it all out at quitthebill.com/network. So Tom.
Chris.
Yes.
You've done a wonderful job with that information dump.
Thank you.
But there's one piece of information that we still need to dump, which is what's happening next time.
We are actually going to be playing a game requested by someone.
Is the someone the Xbox Game Pass surprise me?
No, not no. No, actually I guess friend of the show, and Michael from Bits of Time has actually said we should check out Those Who Remain.
Ooh, sounds sinister.
Yeah. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna check it out and let you know what our thoughts are. You can listen to it. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into this episode, and we will catch you in the next one.
Thanks, everybody.